Let's keep boosting up our reputation.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
You are a traveling minstrel. Do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Tell me about darkspawn.
Chantry lore says it is man's pride that created the darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Well, I already know this is kind of nonsense. Know any stories from Olay?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Olay.
Oh. That sounds interesting.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
Sounds quite majestic.
Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
Sounds like a movie that I heard. Did she win the tourney?
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
That's terrible. That's what I was about to say in my head.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Olay so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
Alright. There was another story I wanted to hear.
Which one?
What do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
And how did Andraste die?
Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter.
Ooh. Why did the Maker not save her with his power?
I have thought on this too. Did he withdraw his sight from her at that moment? Where were all the powers he bestowed upon her? This question has come to me many times, and I have no answer. Perhaps there was no way for Andraste to return to the Maker but through her death. We will never know for sure.
Do you know anything about the Dalish?
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium.
Because we're badass.
The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in a land of their own.
Didn't last.
The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
Alright, let's move on. Anything else?
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
I heard that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
Someone told me this a long time ago.
And you believe everything you hear? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
What's the difference?
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
What sort of patron?
Nobles, mostly. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You seem to know quite a bit about these bards. No, you were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
So that's where you learned to fight like that.
My skills served me well, but the day finally came when I decided to just put them aside. I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry, and when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
New ability? How close am I to her? Plus 50? Oh my god. What's Alistair? Plus 42. I'm very close to her. What was her skill? Moderate cunning. Cool.
Something I can help with?
Can you teach me to be a bard?
I don't think you have the correct aptitude. I could give you some pointers, though. You may be able to pass them on to someone you know. Let's just go over there, away from the others. For safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time.
Oh goody. Specialization unlocked, bard. So who can become a bard? I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out eventually.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
Alright, looks like we're done talking to her. Took us a while, but hey, we unlocked a specialization and we're very close to her.
Yes.
What were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
That's not what I meant.
It's what you asked.
Are you going to answer my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
I want to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
Oh.
Then I suggest we move on.
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the question?
The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arshok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the darkspawn waiting. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. I am hardly surprised.
Oh.
Very well. As you wish.
Man! I'm glad that it takes us a long time to talk with Alistair and Liliana, but with Sten it's just like... done. Holy crap.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
Let me see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be...
Anything I want to sell? This.
Enchantment? Enchantment!
I have no items to enchant still? I want to know how to enchant. Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me what I can enchant. Alright, let's talk to Morrigan.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Gosh.
I await your command. We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Okay, wow. I don't know if I should actually ask her that question because I feel like she'll leave. Who the hell is this?
You witnessed the rarest of things, Warden. The Dalish stand ready to defend Ferelden.
Oh. Do you need anything?
We have assembled on a short schedule. Certain factors of equipment could be better. Crafting components would serve best. Basic ones like elf root and deep mushroom.
Oh, I got a shit ton of that.
At your word, Warden.
Your men will commit to my cause?
I would not insult them by asking. Word was given, and that is all that needs be said.
So I guess that's why this area is so big, because we're going to get more and more groups. Well, it seems like we're done for this session. What can we do? I think I'll go back to Lothering to check the Chanter's board, and then once that's done, we'll go to the Arl Redcliffe. And then we'll go to the Mages, and then we'll have Orzammar be our last stop. Actually, Chanter's board, Arl Redcliffe, and then let's go to Soldier's Peak, actually. I think that would be a good thing. Of course, this could all change at the tip of a hat, but for now, that seems like a good plan. So, I hope you have enjoyed this series of videos. If you have, I encourage you to leave a like and comment, as they help and benefit the growth of the channel, and tell me you guys are enjoying the series. I am the RyMan, signing out. Happy gaming, everybody. I will see you all very soon.